Hi there, I'm Brad Peter, the Executive Director of the Alberta Lake Management Society.
And I'm Laura, the Program Coordinator for Lake Watch.
This video will accompany the LakeKeepers Training Manual. Be sure to have your manual handy as you follow along. Let's get started.
Step 1. Find your sample site. Navigate to the deepest part of the lake, preferably in the main basin as marked on your map. Use your measuring tape with the weight attached to determine the lake's depth. Ensure your measuring tape is straight up and down when reading the depth. Once you're at the deepest part of the lake, drop your anchor so you do not drift during sampling. If available, use a GPS to mark the deep spot so it can be easily found on your next trip. Record the lake depth and other observations on your field sheet. You may now turn off your boat to begin sampling. Step 2. Secchi Depth. At the deep spot, take out your Secchi disc. On the shady side of the boat, and with sunglasses removed, lower the Secchi disc until it is no longer visible. Record this depth on your field sheet. Remember, depending on the angle of the sun, it may not be possible to locate a shady side of the boat. Note the color of the white part of the disc underwater as colorless, brown, or green on the field sheet. Raise the Secchi disc back up until it is barely visible and record this depth on your field sheet. Find the average of the above two depths and record this as your Secchi disc depth. Multiply the Secchi depth by 2 to obtain your euphotic depth and record this on your field sheet. Step 3. Grab sample. At the deep spot, you will be collecting water from 1 meter below the surface with your camera. Take out your 1 liter brown bottle, 250 ml white bottle, and 125 ml white bottle. Your 250 ml bottle has a yellow cap preservative attached to it. Please keep this aside for further use. Label your bottles with the sampling date and time. The nearest 15 minutes is completely fine. After your bottles are labeled, rinse each bottle 3 times with water from 10 centimeters below the surface of the lake. Make sure you are rinsing the bottle's cap as well. After rinsing, place the lids back on the bottles and set aside until they are ready to be filled. Open your camera by separating the 2 lids on each end and hooking the cables to the middle. First, hook 1 loop to the inside hook by pressing down on the middle silver release button. Then, release and hook the second loop on the other side. Locate the weighted messenger on the rope. This will remain in your hand as the camera is lowered into the water. Find the 1 meter depth marker on the rope and lower the camera down so that the 1 meter depth marker is at the surface of the water. Raise the camera back to the surface and repeat steps E to F 3 times to rinse your sampling device. After rinsing, ensure the blue pour spout is closed and again lower the camera to 1 meter. Send the messenger down the rope to release the mechanism and close the camera. Make sure the rope is tight and there is no slack. Use force. Open the spout on the bottom of the camera to fill each of the 3 rinsed bottles with water. Your 125 ml bottle will have a marked fill line. Add the yellow cap preservative to your 250 ml bottle. Wear gloves to ensure the preservative does not come in contact with your skin. Step 4. Temperature. At the deep spot, take out your camera, thermometer, and 500 ml temperature bottle. You will be measuring temperature at 3 depths: 1 meter below the surface, mid-depth, and 1 meter above bottom. Fill in your field sheet with these depths. Mid-depth is your bottom depth divided by 2. Open your camera by separating the 2 lids on each end and hooking the cables to the middle. First, hook 1 loop to the inside hook by pressing down on the middle silver release button. Then release the button and hook the second loop on the other side. Find the appropriate depth marker on the rope and lower the camera down so that the depth marker is at the surface of the water. Make sure you hold the weighted messenger above the water in your other hand. Once the camera is at the correct depth, send the messenger down the rope to release the mechanism and close the camera. Make sure the rope is tight and there is no slack. Use force. Bring the camera back to the surface. It will now be full of water. Fill the temperature bottle with water from the camera. Turn on your lollipop thermometer and place it in the temperature bottle. When the temperature is stable for a period of 5 seconds, record the water temperature and corresponding depth on your field sheet. Now, repeat steps C to G to collect water and measure the temperature for 1 meter, mid-depth, and 1 meter off bottom. Step 1. Filtering chlorophyll. Filtering must be performed away from direct sunlight and on a level surface. Put on your gloves to avoid contamination. Set up the chlorophyll filtering apparatus, as shown in Figure 8. Make sure the tubing is connected tightly. You will need the following pieces: ceramic Buchner funnel, blue rubber stopper, glass flask, hand pump, filter paper, graduated cylinder, pure water poured into your squirt bottle, tweezers, magnesium chloride, and the brown container filled with lake water. Use the tweezers to place one filter paper on the Buchner funnel, covering all the holes. Make sure the rubber stopper is secure. Wet the filter paper with pure water. Use the hand pump to gently increase pressure and allow water to filter through to the flask underneath. Try not to exceed 20 psi on the dial. Shake the brown container, measure 20 ml of lake water using the graduated cylinder, and pour onto the filter paper. Pump until all the water has drained. Rinse the graduated cylinder and Buchner funnel 3 times with pure water onto the filter paper. Pump as you go. Repeat steps E to F until there is only a slight green color visible on the filter paper. This may take up to 100 milliliters of water, depending on the lake. If you can't tell if the paper is green, pick it up and look at it. If the glass flask becomes full, remove the rubber stopper, discard the lake water, and continue filtering. Once you're done filtering, fill in total volume of filtered water on the field sheet. Add 3 drops of magnesium chloride onto the filter paper, rinsing and pumping as you go. Using tweezers, fold the filter paper in half twice. Avoid touching any portion of the paper that has chlorophyll. Finally, place the folded filter paper into a petri dish using tweezers. Label the dish with your name, date, lake, and total volume of lake water filtered. Wrap the petri dish in aluminum foil to protect it from light. Place a new filter paper on the apparatus and repeat this procedure 3 times to obtain 3 filter papers. Excess water at the end of filtering can be discarded back into the lake. Sample storage. Place your 250 ml container and 500 ml container in a Ziploc bag and place in your fridge. Place your 3 petri dishes and 125 ml container in a Ziploc bag and place in your freezer.